Let's skip that first page of the lab. Alright, step 1, creating an RDS proxy. Amazon RDS proxy is a service that you can put in front of a MySQL, PostgreSQL, Amazon RDS databases to improve their scalability and reliability. RDS proxy has 3 main features: pooling an application database connection, automatically switching to a standby instance in case of a database failure, and enabling the use of AWS Identity Access Management credentials to authenticate. In addition to Amazon RDS proxy, it's highly available and deployed over multiple availability zones by default. In this lab step, we'll create a new RDS proxy using the AWS Management Console. So we go to RDS. So to see the existing database resources in the left-hand menu, we'll click on Databases. Once the lab has completed, you'll see 3 entries in the database table. Only got 1 at the moment. There we go. One is the RDS database cluster, 2 instances. You'll see they've been created using the Aurora MySQL database engine. Database resources may take up to 15 minutes to finish creating. When complete, you'll see the available in the status column for them. So we do have to wait for these to actually finish creating. Let CloudFormation do its job. But yeah, this is the labs are by Cloud Academy. So it's,
web link.
if you haven't seen it before, it's definitely worth a shot. The content is absolutely ridiculous. It's really good. It's like so in depth. I just reeled off like 20 odd different labs that they've got, and they're all like super in depth. So highly recommend. Probably pretty expensive though. So yeah, if you can get it through work, I would definitely nudge the right people to buy it. Yeah, I did the same sort of training for the Cloud Practitioner cert and passed that first time, so yeah, it definitely works. Other thing I've been looking at is these. So there's like a bunch of cheat sheets that are free.
Web link.
So these go over like all the sections of this exam. And then, so the bit we've just been doing on database should like drill into it. So you get like RDS. So this is what we're doing now, but whereas this is just telling you like some key points, it's basically just a load of bullets that you'd have to memorize for the exam. This training course would go through the actual like steps to create and like do all these patching, all the backups, like all of that. Like how to do encryption. These billing questions always put me to sleep. Just like if you have to go down this route of knowing how much it costs, you probably shouldn't be going to the cloud anyway. Just an empty hole in your wallet. Come on. Well, Marbles is nearly done. Got 1 minute. See if I've got any try hack me codes I can give out. Yeah, there we go. Got one. Hello? Still creating 60% CPU utilization. Let's play Marbles. Right, let me log in. What should we play? 12 seconds. Let's do a... %1 elimination. Alright, cool. We'll do a giveaway. So hopefully the ads have gone. If you type !play, same as Tibbs does pretty much every stream. And yeah, we'll see who wins. And whoever wins can get a 1 month Try Hack Me voucher. Or not, and I'll just win myself. There we go, Christie's in. Hey, Fix It!
Fix It says.
If you do exclamation point play,
says, I was here all the time.
We'll do a race for a Try Hack Me voucher.
But I was in league.
Oh, okay. Lurking.
Hi, Fix It 42.
Oh, we got 13 viewers, and I'm pretty certain most of those are from Tiberius the stream. You must know how to play marbles. Exclamation point play gets you in.
Fix It says.
Hi, Christy.
Christy says. They sleep.
See if anyone's not listening to audio. They might listen to an announcement. Let's do a countdown. 60 seconds. Start. You've got 1 minute to get in. Otherwise, me, Christy, and Fixit
says.
will win.
I had you on in the background. Was watching Security Food with Cody.
Oh, cool. Are they still on? Who's actually on now? We've got... I don't see any SciTech streamers. That's just me. But yeah, we'll do one more lab and then hopefully someone else will come on for a raid. If not, I've got a few other people that are gaming that I could raid out to. Right, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I forgot Christy's cheating with her super duper ball.
So AWS studies.
Christy says.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the developer
Translated
associate
from
exam. I've got a voucher for the exam that expires in May, so I've just been cramming like every bit of training I can for the last month. But yeah, it's pretty in depth. You've really got to know everything. Like
Fixit says.
Oh.
The thing that really sucks is you've got to be able to write like the policies and like CloudFormation scripts. Because yeah, if you get a question on that, if you don't know how to do it, you've basically ruined that question. Hey, Christy's off. Where am I? I'm miles behind. Christy with her pay-to-win ball. This did have a 25% elimination chance, so she might get wrecked, yeah. Fixit's not far behind. Oh.
Christy says.
Oh, I thought you snuck past then.
We all might though.
Oh yeah, Fixit's out. Out of the tumble dryer thing. Oh no, Christy's out as well. Didn't see it there. Am I dead? Oh no, I'm catching you up. You two are fighting it out. Christy's DLC ball gets through again. What is that? Like, what's that like obstacle down there? Oh, here we go. Whee. Oh, it's like a plinko.
Is a moon.
That's no moon.
Or a sun.
Yay!
I don't remember.
Christy came first. Oh, did I overtake Vic? Oh no, it's just because I'm like high elevation. I think it made me think I was in second. Fixit's in as well. Eee, well done, Christy.
Well, keep the voucher though, or fix it once it.
Do you want it?
See
Fix
you,
it. Do
son.
you want a 1 month try hack me voucher?
Fix it says.
Ads?
Oh, have you got ads? You can't answer me.
Back?
Oh, that was a quick ad. Yeah, do you want the voucher? Christie's gifting it over if you would like it.
No, it's okay, thanks.
No. I can't get rid of these things. Nobody wants them. Cool. Alright, we'll roll it over. So the next one I do, we'll do a 2 month.
Do another one later, smile.
Yeah. Alright, okay. Right, we'll do it when we wrap up, so before we raid out. I've got to figure out how to get out of the stream.
Christy says. We will roll to a later one.
Yeah, here.
Ye.
Cool. Right, everything's available now, so we can actually do the lab. So, when you...
Fix it says.
I subscribe.
Yeah, so I've got a year sub, so I can't even use the vouchers. So I couldn't use them myself because my voucher doesn't run out till like next December, and I haven't even used the last 2 months of it. I haven't even logged into it. Just wasting it. Right, so those 3 are available. On the left hand side we should have proxies. If we see an empty table in proxy, we'll create a proxy. So create proxy.
Type giveaway in the title, D.
Yeah, do you reckon that will work? Oh wait, I've got to delete some stuff. Let's do... We've done networks, we've done that. Let's delete these from the end. And I've got some characters back.
Nightbot says. You can change your TTS voice here. Web link. Christy says. True.
Right, there we go, I've updated it. Right, so we'll create the proxy. What settings do we need? So in the proxy config, we need to select MySQL for the engine. Proxy identifier will be lab proxy. Target group needs to have. So we use the drop down. Just pick the default. Take a look at the connection pool maximum connections option. Something to be aware of is that by default an RDS proxy will use all of the RDS cluster available connecting. Imagine that you're configuring a proxy to use by web application. Leaving this option at the default 100% would result in connections being made directly, not through the proxy, to the cluster of the instance failing. It's common for platforms that include a web application to also include background jobs, such as an analytical workload or an irregular database admin task. Changing the value of this option to less than 100% would result in there always being some connections free for a client that wants to connect to the database directly. For this lab, we'll leave the option at 100%. So an RDS proxy incurs an additional cost based on the database instance class of the Amazon Aurora cluster, or the RDS database instance the proxy will be used with. To see the pricing of an RDS proxy, they've got a pricing page, which I don't really care about. In the auth section, select the following. So we need an IAM rule. into Proxy, and then we'll use that role that's been created. Secret Manager, we need to use. There's only one option apparently, so we'll select that. In this lab, a secret in the AWS Secrets Manager has been created for us. The MySQL RDS cluster has been configured to use the password within this secret for authentication of the admin access. Likewise, appropriate identity and access management role has already been created for us to use with the proxy. The role allows us to access the secret within the secret manager. This section of the form allows you to configure an IAM authentication. Enabling the option will allow you to enforce that only the IAM credentials that will be used to connect through the proxy. Leave this option as not allowed. Alright, to configure the security group, select on the additional connectivity. And select the group whose name begins with this is a security group that allows traffic from anywhere on port 3306, which is the default MySQL database port. Note that the group is deliberately permissive in the lab for the sake of convenience. In a non-lab environment, it's extremely rare for the database to be accessible over the public internet. If you don't associate a security group with port 3306, then you will not be able to use the proxy later in the lab. Yeah, because the security group will deny you access, because there won't be a rule to allow you. Right. Finish creating the RDS proxy. Scroll to the bottom and create proxy. You'll return to the proxy page of the RDS Management Console. You'll see a blue notification that the lab is being created, or the lab proxy has been created. While the RDS proxy can take up to 20 minutes to create, typically it will take less than 5. While you're waiting for the proxy to become available, feel free to look at the AWS provided documentation, such as planning where to use the RDS proxy page of the user guide for Amazon Aurora. Once the proxy creation is complete, the status column of the proxies table will display available. You'll see a green notification at the top of the page that you're now ready to use the RDS proxy. Right, so we do have to wait again for this. But yeah, planning where to use RDS proxy, you can determine which of the DB instances, clusters, and applications might benefit the most from using a proxy. To do so, consider these factors. Any database cluster that encounters too many connection errors would be a good candidate for associating with a proxy. It's often characterized by a high value of connection attempts cloud metric.
Fixit says.
Just realized I had you up twice, lol. Tips raid, I guess?
Yeah, tips raided. So if you were lurking in both, then you'd have been pulled over to me. Unfortunately, it doesn't count as 2 views, though. Let's close Marbles because it's making my OBS freak out. Right, for database clusters that use smaller classes, such as a T1 or T3, using a proxy can help avoid out-of-memory conditions. So these are just load balancing, and you can monitor for the CloudWatch metric to determine whether the cluster is approaching a certain type of limit. Limits for the number of connections and the memory associated with the connection management.
Ads again, lol. I'm suddenly getting lots.
It just says the ad finished, so don't know if you're getting another one. I don't know when they come in, actually, whether it's like when people join, like if every person has a unique timing for the ads, and then some of them are like global because everyone will get them at once.
Christy says.
It lies.
It lies probably.
Still creating. The AWS Lambda function can be a good candidate for using a proxy. These functions make frequent, short database connections that benefit from a connection pooling offered by RDS Proxy. You can take advantage of any IAM authentication that you already have for the Lambda function instead of managing a database credential for your Lambda application code. Applications that typically open and close large numbers of database connections don't have a built-in connection pooling mechanism, and they're therefore a good candidate for proxy. Applications that keep a large number of connections open for long periods are a good candidate for proxy. Applications in industry, often such as a software as a service or an e-commerce, often minimize the latency for a database request by leaving a connection open. With RDS Proxy, the application can keep more connections open than it can when connecting directly to the database cluster. You might not have adopted an IAM authentication secret manager due to the complexity of setting up the authentication for all database clusters. If so, you can leave the existing auth method in place and delegate the authentication to a proxy. The proxy can enforce the auth policy for the client connection to a particular application. You can take advantage of any IAM auth that you already have for Lambda function. And then finally, RDS Proxy can help make applications more resilient and transparent to a database failure. Proxy bypasses domain name service system caches to reduce failover time and up to 60% for Aurora multi-AZ databases. RDS Proxy can automatically route traffic to a new database while preserving the application connection. This makes failover more transparent for applications. So basically, if one DB dies, the proxy will send you over to another one that's working. And then similarly, if you've got too few connections to one database, the proxy will send you over to one with spare connections. RDS manages the Lambda auth, so you don't have to do DB auth. And then if you've got poverty instances like T2, T3 that are free and have low memory, if they run out of memory, you can span the connections across multiple smaller class instances. There we go, we are available. Right, so now we can use the proxy. If we just click on that, I guess it should show us the state. The state of the proxy. Where do I see that? Oh, it's still going. Still creating some endpoints. Alright, yeah, anyway, so state of the proxy indicates whether the proxy is able to communicate and connect to the database associated with it. Possible values include unavailable, pending proxy capacity, connection failure, auth failure, unreachable. Sometimes to help determine the cause of the issue, the reason and description fields of the proxy will show you more information. I'm not seeing that though. Where the hell is it getting that from? Target group. To view the detail of your proxy in the proxy identifier column, click on Lab Proxy, which is done. The page will load showing more specific information about the proxy. When you create an RDS proxy using RDS Management Console, it creates 3 separate types of resources: a database proxy, one or more database endpoints, which is done too, and a target group. The target group is associated with the cluster or the set of database instances. You think of the target group as a wrapper around the database that you want to use the proxy with. It's a one-to-one mapping between the target group and the RDS proxy. Be aware that each type of resource has its own status field which should be examined when troubleshooting. So that. Okay. To learn more about the different resources that make up an RDS proxy, see the overview of RDS proxy concepts in this terminology page. With this lab step, you've created an RDS proxy, configured it to work with an existing Aurora cluster. Run this check to make sure it's created and available for use. Which it is. We can do the next one. So now we're going to connect to the virtual machine using EC2 Instance Connect. So we've got to go over to EC2. Thank you for the follow. We should have a connect. We're going to connect with Instance Connect again. EC2 users selected, connect. Browser shell will open in a new window. If you see an error, it's likely that the environment hasn't finished setting up, which we're good. Right, testing the proxy. In this step, we'll use the terminal to test the connection pooling feature of the Aurora RDS proxy. We need to install the MySQL command line client, so we'll copy the code for that and install it. Then we're going to install a tool called sysbench, so we're just going to download it and then install it again. Sysbench is a general-purpose benchmarking tool that can be used to simulate and benchmark complex workloads. It has support for database testing and is also easy to modify with scripts using the Lua scripting language. To learn more about what Sysbench can do, visit this GitHub page. Next, you'll use the AWS command line interface to fetch database host names and credentials to use with Sysbench. So, we're going to use the AWS CLI. This command uses the AWS command line to visit the cluster that exists in the account. EC2 instance that you're using has an IAM role associated with it that will put through an IAM instance profile that only allows read access to the database, or the database API. In response to the command, you'll see a cluster represented in JSON. The CLI displays results in a command line in a pager. When the results is larger than the terminal, you can use the keyboard arrow to move up and down. Use your F and B keys to move one page up and down at a time. Notice that the endpoint key in the JSON response, this is the hostname of the cluster, and when connecting via this hostname, you are not using the RDS proxy. To exit the page, return to the command prompt and press Q. So we can just go up and down. Scroll to the top, scroll to the bottom. Okay. Right. To fetch the endpoint of the RDS cluster and store it in an environment variable and print the variable, enter the following. So that gives us the environment, and then this command defines a bash environment called dbhost. Assigns the value of the variable to the result of the subshell. Inside the subshell, it calls AWS CLI with the query filter that returns the endpoint and an output text option that is used to get the value. You can feel free to run the content of the subshell separately and see the results of the CLI command. To view your RDS proxy depicted in JSON, you can enter the following. Feel free to run AWS RDS describe DB proxy target group and RDS describe DB proxy endpoint command to view the other resources that comprise the RDS proxy. To fetch the host name of the proxy and store it in an variable, we need to run this. And to retrieve the password from the secret associated with the cluster, enter the following. Cool. You'll see the secret. These commands fetch the ARN of the secret associated with your RDS proxy, and they use the ARN to retrieve the value of the secret. The value of the secret string in the JSON containing the username and password. The JQ command line tool is used to select just the password and store it in an environment variable named dbpassword. You've retrieved the following using the AWS line, stored them in a variable. You have the host names for the proxy and the cluster. You've got the password associated with the cluster. You're now ready to use sysbench to test your proxy. Create a database in the cluster. Run the following command. So we need to run that. That's just going to create the database. This uses the MySQL command line to run the SQL statement that creates a new database called test, and then prepare the sysbench test, enter the following. So run that. Inserting 1,000,000 records into test, right? Alright, this command will create a database table with indexes and populate the table with data. It uses a suite of testing scripts that are packaged for sysbench. OLTP is short for the online transaction processing. This describes the kind of database workload generated by most web apps. When the request is made, data is either read or written to the database, with the result being available in near real time. An alternative workload is the online analytical processing (OLAP), which typically involves interrogating large datasets or aggregating data. Together with OLTP and OLAP describe the most real-time workloads that relational database management systems are used for. To view the first 5 records in the table that sysbench has populated, you'll enter the following. It's just going to do a SQL select statements. There we go. This data has been randomly generated by sysbench. To run the test directly against the cluster, enter the following. So this will do an OLTP test. There we go. You'll see that the test will fail with a response similar to the following. So we'd get too many connections. The test has exceeded the maximum number of connections that are supported when connecting directly to the cluster using the cluster endpoint. The connection limit for RDS instance varies depending on the instance's database class. In the lab, the instances is using a T3 small database instance class. For this class, the maximum connection supported is 40. The maximum number of connections to a given DB instance class depends on how much memory the class provides. The formula for determining the max connection of the RDS instance class can be found in the maximum number of database connections, with the quota and constraints of the RDS page of the Amazon RDS user guide. In the test command, if you specify 50 threads, each thread will open a connection to the database at roughly the same time. This results in too many connection errors that you'll see when running a test against the cluster directly. If we rerun the test against the proxy this time, you'll enter the following. So this time we're doing it against the proxy host, rather than the cluster host. This test will take a minute to complete, but you'll see that it should hopefully complete successfully. Your RDS proxy will serve all the connection requests made by sysbench. When more requests come simultaneously than the database can handle, a new connection is accepted and queued by the RDS proxy until the database instance is available again. Queuing increases the latency for the affected database connection. Whether this is a valid approach will depend upon your workload and the specific application requirement. Proxies can be configured to reject the connection if it's above the threshold. Particularly good use case for RDS proxy is with the AWS Lambda function. Lambda functions are often used to handle unpredictable and spiky workloads. By configuring them to use a proxy, you'll reduce or eliminate the number of connection failures that they may see. It's also easy to take advantage of the proxy IAM for Lambda, simplifying the credential management. Something to be aware of is that the proxy can not directly be publicly accessed. It's deployed as a VPC endpoint and assigned a private IP from the VPC subnet. So RDS proxies can be accessed across VPCs by creating additional endpoints. So you can only use them privately, you can't have a public endpoint. In this lab you'll have created the proxy and configured it. We've used the CLI to retrieve connection information and the RDS proxy cluster. We've used the connection information along with sysbench to test that the RDS proxy can make applications more resilient by queuing over subscribed database connections. So the check. Now the check's only seeing if sysbench was run. Not that it's finished the one that's currently running, so I might get away with this. We won't have to wait for it to finish. Yeah, there we go, nice. So submit that. Sweet, that was the end of the lab. Right, this lab should probably terminate